Hey y'all, this is Tamron, the marriage mentor. I help women who are struggling to balance marriage and life. I also give my own personal experiences to help you as a wife, as a woman, overcome the obstacles that you're faced in your life to help you have a better marriage and a much better life. Today, I wanted to just come on here and give you guys a tip I think that will help all of you ladies. And the tip that I want to say is that get out of denial. A lot of us, whether you want to admit it or not, have been in a denial moment once or twice or maybe even three times or more in your marriage. Denial is where you don't admit to something. It's like you do not want to face the truth. I will be the first one to say that marriage is not perfect. Marriage is work. You will have your good times. You will have your bad times. You will have your sad times. You will have your emotional moments. You will have your breakdown moments. You will have your moments where you feel like you just want to give up and quit. But the thing about it is that you have to find the truth within yourself. You cannot live a lie in your marriage. So if you're going through something, if you have some problems in your marriage, infidelity, whatever it may be, the first thing that's going to help you out to solve the problem is first you have to admit that you have one. So first of all, you have to admit that something is going on in your marriage that's not so good. You have to admit that. And with anything in life that I have found out, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's relationships, if it's whatever. In order to get the help that you need, you must admit that you have a problem. When you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, when you go to a counselor, when you go to your pastor or whatever, and you sit down and talk, and they're going to ask you, so what do you come in today for? What can I help you with? You have to admit that there's a problem. You're not going to get anywhere. The problem is not going to be solved unless you have to first admit that you have a problem. And a lot of women are in denial about what is going on. A lot of men sometimes can be in denial about what's going on. And that can be anything in life because it's like you don't want to face it. The reason why people are in denial, I just had a revelation, is because you do not want to face the truth. Sometimes, and I do believe this, sometimes, people may not agree with me, but the truth hurts sometimes. The truth hurts. And it's going to take all of you to face the truth, even though it is going to hurt. Sometimes you have to push through that pain. When you know that it's going to be pain, you have to push through that. So that's why people are in denial. It's because they know that truth is going to hurt. But you have to get past the pain. You have to press your way through the pain. And you have to get out of the denial. Get your mind out of the denial state. Because when you stay in denial, you are hindering your marriage from growing. Your marriage will continue to be stagnant. Your marriage will not flourish because you are holding on to something that you need to let go, that you need to express, that you need to get out. So you can say, hey, let me just own up to it. Let me be honest with myself. Let me be honest with my husband. We have a problem. Just face it. Face it. Face the truth. So in any of your life situations, face the truth. As they say, face the music. Face the truth. And when you face that truth, you are coming out of denial. And you are actually saying that, hey, I have a problem. Or it's something going on in my marriage that I don't like. And I'm not going to continue to cover it up with lies and telling myself that everything is all right. But when you face the truth, you face it with faith. And you know in your heart that, okay, when I come to terms with this and when I say yes, there's a problem going on, there's something going on, I'm going to face it with faith because I know that God is going to work this thing out. So you have to know that whatever it is, whatever that is going on in your marriage is not too hard that God cannot handle it. It's not too hard that God cannot fix it. So, and another reason why people are in denial is because they don't know the outcome. You don't know what the outcome may be. You know that is a problem. You know that something's going on. So you think that if you just stay right here in this little box, just holding the truth, just keeping that from yourself, then everything will stay the same. But everything is actually going downhill. And as you compress that thing and you place things on top of that, it gets lower and lower and it starts to compress. And when pressure continues to be applied to that, then what do you think is going to happen when everything hits the fan? Everything's going to hit the fan. And then so you are left with a problem that is bigger than you. You are left with something that is really out of your hands. You are left with something that makes you want to pull your hair out because you don't know what to do. Because you allowed for that problem to get ahead of you. You allowed for that problem to get in over your head. So now you are deep in the water and you don't know what to do but remain in denial. Break out of the denial, sister girl. Ladies, break out of the denial. If you are going through something in your marriage, everybody goes through something in their marriage. I'm the first one to admit, everybody goes through something in their marriage, but it's predicated on your attitude. It's predicated on how you handle it. And it's predicated on whether you're going to face the music, on whether you're going to face the truth or not, on what the outcome will be. So don't be afraid of what the outcome will be. Just know that when you face that thing, when you face that truth, when you face that problem, face it with faith and know that there is nothing, there is nothing too hard for God. There is not a marriage that God cannot fix. I'm going to say that again. There is not a marriage that God cannot fix. God can handle it. God's got your back. And as I say, everything happens for a reason. So you may be going through this thing for a reason, but you have to go through it the right way. Because if you don't go through it the right way, then let me tell you this, you will continue to go through the same thing. It's going to be like a circle effect. You know, when the hamster go around the wheel, it's going to be a circle effect until you learn from it. Until you learn what God wants you to learn from that problem, from that situation. And once you learn from that and you learn what God wants you to learn and you handle the situation correctly, you won't have to go through that again. Because before you even go through that again, you will know what not to do. So ladies, I can't stress this enough. Get out of denial. If you have a problem in your marriage, if it's something going on and you just like, I need to nip this in the bud, communicate. Communication is the key. Communication is vital in a marriage. Communicate with your spouse. Let them know how you feel. Let them know that you know what they're doing or you feel as if it's not right. And if you have already did that, go to your pastor. Go to a near and dear friend. Find you a mentor, such as me. I offer mentor sessions for married couples or for wives if you would just like to do this alone. And in those mentor sessions, we go over what your problem is. We address your problem. And after we address your problem, I come up with a plan of action that will help you with that problem, that will help you overcome that obstacle. But the first step is always the hardest. As I tell everybody, the first step is always the hardest. And the first step is going to be admitting that you have a problem. So admit that you have a problem so that problem can be solved and you can find a solution and you can overcome this, girl. You got this, because remember that there's nothing too hard for God, and there is not a marriage in the world that God cannot fix.